The Harmonic Convergence Chapter 12 Meeting the Federation. Maxim and Dulkar had successfully balanced the helm by reducing the mainsail once again to its deep reef storm conditioned sail area. "Make sure that all the reefing lines are securely tied," called out Maxim. "We are expected to be on this port tack for many days." "The head sail also needs reducing in size," said Dulkar. "Yes, we need to replace it with a storm jib," said Maxim. "If necessary, all hands will need to be available." "Yes," we all said in unison. The storm jib will allow us to make steady progress," I said. "That is correct," said Maxim. "If we do not use the storm jib, the gale force winds will overpower the rig and sails and slow Orca down." "And at the same time," said Dulkar, "the storm jib will reduce the pounding of the ocean swells against the port side of Orca 2. Yes, they can be quite massive," said Altar. "What is our estimated speed?" asked Maxim. "It is only around 5 knots, said Dulkar. "It may be slow, but at least in these conditions, we will be comfortable." We sailed close to the wind for many days and nights, all taking turns at the helm, and all exclaimed at how Orca 2 only required a light pressure on the helm to maintain our heading northwest. Arno pulled on his warmer jacket. "The high temperatures and humidity of the Mediterranean Sea seem to be a distant memory," he said. "Yes," agreed Maxim. "The humidity is certainly in contrast to the cold North Atlantic gales that we are now sailing through. This heavy rain, when it is driven by strong winds," said Asteria in a raised voice, "feels like pebbles pounding on my face." Shamara, scrunching up her face to protect herself from the onslaught, looked concerned. "Do we need to be concerned about hitting the shoreline rocks around the far distant lands that you spoke of earlier, Maxim?" "There does not need to be any concern," smiled Maxim. "Those far distant lands are many weeks away, and when the storm abates, we will change our heading and run with the westerly winds to the northern side of the English coastline." "Well, as we know, many of the Portuguese explorers never returned after making such a trip," said Arno, above the noise of the elements. "Well," said Maxim, his head lifting slightly as he tried to recall a memory. "I have not been through the southern passage of those lands, that the Portuguese call the Americas. However, he proceeded with confidence, I am sure that as a little boy, I was on a voyage that took us through a passageway called Terra del Fuego. Oh, how wonderful! Exclaimed Minerva. If my memory serves me correctly, said Maxim, there was a 12-knot current between the tides that coursed through that passageway. In order to successfully navigate those waters, a seaman required excellent sailing skills. Shah-Ma-Ra inclined her head. If the current is that fierce, she said, there must be an enormous tidal surge from another vast expanse of ocean on the other side of the passage. Is that correct? Yes, replied Maxim. It is similar to the current that we have just experienced as we passed through the Strait of Gibraltar. That great body of water on the other side of the passage is the Pacific Ocean, said Naishara. It is my understanding that once you pass through that passage, you come upon what was once the continent of Oceania, otherwise known as Lemuria. Ah, yes, exclaimed Shah-Ma-Ra. We were all there. She looked at each one of us in the eyes. Do you remember? It was on another timeline, just after the destruction of Tiamat. That is correct, said Irama solemnly. I remember that harrowing and yet awesome experience. Everyone on Orca 2 who had shared the timeline when Tiamat was destroyed experienced a déjà vu as we remembered Lemuria sinking beneath the deluge. Well, it is time for light refreshments, said Sarah, and we gathered together on the deck to partake of fruits and beverages. In reference to the Americas, began Sophia, many civilizations and cultures were seeded from the Pleiadian star systems and flourished throughout those vast lands. We all turned our attention towards Sophia and became spellbound by her voice and knowledge about the Americas. Remember, she continued, that we came here as starseeds from the Pleiades to assist humanity in its awakening process. We knew that all of the different timelines would converge into a future point in the 21st century. Yes, we did, I replied, and here we all are, travelling to Stonehenge to take the higher energies to the Druids and assist in that timeline in 2012. I have been thinking, said Asteria with a perplexed look on her face. I just don't understand how the human race could be so asleep and unaware. Sophia caught Asteria's eyes, and smiling, she began to explain the problems that exist on Earth. The human race is a mixture of cultures and races who are inhabiting a human body. So, the human body is a designer race, created so that many different races can inhabit the biology and experience third density Earth. This designer race is called humanity. It has always been like this. What do you mean, a designer race? Exclaimed Asteria. The human body in a third density matrix can be inhabited by many different races, explained Sophia. Some of these races were not even humanoid, so you would not recognize them if they were not in a human body. The human biology has been designed so that it can offer experiences to all of these different races. Really? Remarked Minerva. Does that include the invasive races? And does that mean that any being with any motivation or agenda can incarnate on the earth? Yes, absolutely, nodded Sophia. Well, what about the fifth density federation? Inquired Minerva. As we know, it is impossible to incarnate onto the earth without first coming through the federation. That is correct, agreed Sophia. We make an agreement to come here, and in collaboration with the Federation, we design or co-create our own life depending upon what we want to experience. So, it is like we design a computer game for our own reasons, and then we incarnate to participate in the game, mused Cinderella. Yes, that is an accurate description of what is taking place on Earth, smiled Sophia. And we co-create our experiences with other beings. The other people in our lives have agreed also to incarnate with us and act out their role. Well, exclaimed Arnaud, that diffuses the concept of victim and perpetrator, doesn't it? If we co-create our lives before we incarnate, and we all have a role to play, depending upon what we want to learn, then there are no victims or perpetrators. That is correct, laughed Minerva, and gave Arnaud a flirtatious glance. Surely, said Asteria, flashing Minerva an expression of disapproval. The Federation could create a system where they scrutinize a species and their intentions before they incarnate onto the Earth. That way, we would have a planet of like-minded souls. Sophia laughed. Well, usually, a planet is inhabited by beings who all have the same density, and in this way, there is harmony. However, on Earth, this is not the case. The initial intention was that any being could come here in order to learn and grow. Over time, however, especially since the third density matrix, Earth has become a free-for-all. Earth is now a place where many different species can experience whatever they want, and it does not necessarily pertain to learning and growing. Oh, yes, I heard that too, said Shamara. Not everyone wants to ascend. They may want to experience gluttony, the misuse of sexual energy, or mind-altering drugs. The list is endless. Well, I still do not understand why the Federation don't intervene when the Dark Ones go too far, exclaimed Asteria. The Federation have had thousands of years to remove the Dark Ones, said Irama. However, they do not want to solve the problems on Earth. They want to move their resources and assets around the Earth to perpetuate third density and all that goes with it. Earth is a created playground where the Dark Ones and the Federation continuously set up challenges for humanity. Absolutely, said Ariana. The souls who dare to incarnate into the third density matrix are told that their experience will offer them tremendous spiritual growth. The Federation, however, continued Sophia, keep increasing the levels of their deception. In other words, they present humanity with more and more challenging hardships and obstacles. This they do under the pretense that they are offering humanity opportunities to learn and grow. However, humanity is so mind-controlled that they can easily lose themselves. Are you saying that the Federation and the Dark Ones are working together? Said Arno defiantly. Yes, that is what I am saying, said Sophia softly. It is important to know, however, that the controls, or the ideas that the Federation inflict upon humanity, come from the human mind. So the Federation are actually only giving humans what they believe, or what is in their programming. They are giving humanity what they want. In 21st century Earth, said Ankai, transhumanism, artificial intelligence, and the idea of being chipped is what people are choosing at the lower collective conscious mind level, because they are attached to their beliefs and fears. This, of course, makes them vulnerable to mind control. They are being mind controlled to accept a new world order, one government, one religion, and one world currency. Sarah nodded gravely. The Federation and their secret societies that help them on Earth and elsewhere want to take humanity into another form of extreme limitation and control, she said. In the new One World Order, everyone will be chipped and mind-controlled to the extent that they lose their free will entirely. And the Federation do this without any conscience? Asked Arnaud. Sometimes it is for their own entertainment, said Dorkara. However, the Federation are working with the Dark Ones to keep humanity in the lower densities. I thought the purpose of the Federation was to mentor humanity, said Asteria, and reached over to pick some crumbs off Arno's jacket. Minerva pinched her mouth, and moving her head from side to side, she let Asteria know that she was not impressed. Asteria burst out laughing, and Minerva, who always enjoyed her playful interactions with her sister, laughed also. The purpose of the Federation is to mentor. However, they do not do this, I explained. They control what happens on Earth from their various locations in the solar system, and while they advocate for non-intervention, they do intervene. Their hands are everywhere. Of course, they do not reveal this to humanity. Well, how do they intervene? Asked Minerva. As we know, the Dark Ones are very clever, said Altar. They always tell humanity what they are doing, and in 21st century Earth, this is through the media. In this way, they consider that they have humanity's consent. Humanity is giving their consent without knowing what they are agreeing to because they have been mind-controlled. The Federation, however, know what the Dark Ones are doing and do not intervene or stop them. So the Federation intervene by not intervening, said Arnaud. Sophia laughed. Yes, That is a very good way to describe it, she said. In 21st century Earth, the majority of the human collective conscious mind is leaning towards negativity. The Federation make up experiments to administer to humans on the lower collective conscious mind level. However, these experiments are within universal law, so in the minds of the Federation, no laws are being violated. What the people want on a subconscious or belief level is to be lied to and manipulated. Therefore, that is what they are getting. Oh, right. So humans are creating what is unresolved in their shadows. And in this way, they are creating their own fear, said Shama-Ra. Yes, everything that is happening on Earth is a creation that is born out of the human mind, said Imra. The human mind is creating the third density. I thought the third density was created from the Lunar Matrix, inquired Cinderella. The third density Lunar Matrix, I said, while it does influence humanity, is not as influential as the human mind. The third density human mind is the problem. Humans must learn to fend for themselves and solve the problems that are of their own making. I suppose what you are describing is the experience of contrast, said Shama-Ra, as she reached over to pick an apple from the bowl. Yes, said Sophia. Contrast is how we learn and grow. The third density clearly teaches humanity all of the things that they do not want. It is important to experience and therefore clearly know what we do not want, so that we can choose what we do want. All souls will experience whatever it is that they are asking for, whether it is on Earth or on other planets who are also experiencing a third density matrix. It is up to humanity to liberate themselves from all of the things that they do not want, said Sarah. This is the only way out of the self-inflicted nightmare that humans have created in the lower collective conscious mind. Of course, contrast only exists in the dimensions of duality, doesn't it? Inquired Cinderella. Yes, as long as we live in any realm of duality, we create contrast, explained Sophia. The only way to fully understand yourself, or to know who you are, is by experiencing who you are not, or contrast. This is the journey of seeking. So, contrast is another term for experiencing our shadow self, said Asteria, or unresolved feelings, beliefs. That is correct, said Ankai. Well, aren't the starseeds a part of the Federation? Inquired Asteria. So, if the Federation is impeding humanity's growth, why are the starseeds mentoring humanity? Many starseeds are rogues, laughed Maxim, or systems busters, and they sometimes go against the Federation. The Pleiadian starseeds, for example, and others are in this category. I know that the Pleiadian starseeds do not agree with what the Federation is doing, said Shama-Ra defiantly. They incarnate on Earth to help humanity, and they do this by bringing a higher frequency into the lower collective conscious mind so that they can affect humanity in a positive way. Yes, They know that the third density game does not end, said Ariana. Third density is not designed for a soul to wake up. Really? Exclaimed Minerva. So the Federation know that most souls will not wake up and ascend? Yes, that is correct, nodded Sophia. Also, many souls and starseeds who come here can get caught in the third density matrix and fall asleep. In fact, most of the souls in the third density matrix forget who they are and why they are here. They do not know how to step out of the game. Ah, yes, it is a game, isn't it? Said Minerva. As we mentioned before, it is like a computer game. When a soul chooses to come into the third density, said Sophia, and they create their experience with the Federation and others, they know that it is just a game. However, once they are immersed in the third density, they can easily forget who they are and why they have come here. This is the challenge. Indeed, said Imra. They begin to believe that there is no way out. The starseeds are the gatekeepers for the way out, and to remind humans, you can finish this game and get out and go home, said Dulkar-Ra. But I have often heard the Federation talk about humanity's ascension, said Arnaud. What you are saying, however, is that they do not want humanity to ascend. So, is the ascension going to happen or not? The Federation talk about ascension and have been doing so for thousands of years, replied Sophia. However, she shook her head from side to side. They never actually share the true meaning of ascension. They claim that they are creating the possibility for humanity to ascend back into the fifth density. However, that is not what they are doing. They sell humanity a story by making allegations that a human can transcend their problems and free themselves from their suffering. In fact, suffering and hardship is inevitable so long as there is the illusion of separation. The third density is, therefore, inescapable, because third density can only ever be third density. It was never intended for humanity to escape the third density matrix. So, fighting for ascension is part of the deception, said Asteria. Absolutely, nodded Maxim. The frequency of fighting is extremely destructive. If an individual feels the need to fight for their freedom, they, therefore, believe that they are a victim. Someone who fights is always a victim, and the act of fighting only creates more fighting. It is also a judgment, and judgment lowers our frequency and takes us onto a lower timeline. Fighting is a frequency, and if an individual engages in fighting, they cannot raise their frequency to the fifth density. It is simply not a frequency match. Well, isn't a starseed fighting for humanity? Inquired Arnaud. So, what is the difference between humanity fighting and a starseed who is fighting for freedom? A starseed fights with their consciousness, said Sophia. They fight by taking their minds out of mind control and raising themselves into the higher densities. In other words, interrupted Naishara, pouring herself a cup of tea, their sword, as a symbol, is their sovereignty. Well, then what exactly is sovereignty? Inquired Arnaud. It is our ability to be clear about what is going on and claiming what is rightfully ours in a peaceful way, said Ankai. The Federation also trick humanity into believing that they will be saved, added Sarah. The Federation want humanity to believe that the right government leader, an ET rescue attempt, Jesus, or a solar flash will offer them the solution to Ascension. Humanity believe that an event that is outside of themselves will usher them into the new fifth density Earth. Yes, said Dulkara. Many humans believe that third density systems need to be overthrown and moved into the fifth density. As we know, we cannot change the third density into the fifth density, said Ariana. And governments and monetary systems, no matter how fair they may seem, do not exist in the fifth density. All of the different densities are already on Earth and always have been, said Sophia. The third density is not going away. When an individual raises their frequency into the fifth density, the third density will no longer exist for them. They may hear about what is happening in the third density, however, they will not be touched by it. The third density will still exist. It will still be playing out its deceptions and agendas. However, the fifth density being will not be affected by it. Well, even if the third density matrix were to be removed, said Altar, humanity might have access to the higher realms. However, these higher realms already exist. They are already there, and all souls already go there in between lives. As we all know, the fifth density is not a bed of roses either, said Irama. In fact, the fifth density matrix is not even another game. It is the same game. In the higher realms, there are other levels of the cosmic madness that we are all dealing with. I do not think that many humans are aware of the pitfalls of the fifth density. That is correct, said Sophia. The Federation want us to believe that the fifth density is nirvana. However, it is not. If the masses grow in consciousness, the Federation move the masses into a different set of rules for more confined experiences. The fifth density is a move into another matrix of confinement to further experience another set of rules. Yes, interjected Ankai. The Federation claim that the fifth density will be a paradise on Earth. Most humans think that when they walk into the fifth density, they will be in some kind of bliss and all of their problems will be solved. This is a trap, because the fifth density matrix is just another set of rules and limitations. Well, all densities have their own set of agreements. That is what makes them a density, right? Asked Asteria. And taking an orange from the bowl of fruit, she offered it to Arnaud. As we all know, humans already are fifth density beings, and they have brought their problems from the fifth density to the third density to be resolved, agreed Sophia. When we resolve our fifth density problems in the third density, it is so much more powerful than resolving these problems in the fifth density. The third density Earth experience offers solutions that are unachievable or perhaps even unknown in the other densities. And furthermore, I exclaimed with delight, when we create solutions in the third density on Earth, other dimensions can apply them to their own learning and growth. Minerva took the orange out of Arno's hands and began peeling it for him. So, if we take this powerful transformation into the fifth density and beyond, she said, in this way, we can resolve our problems in all of the densities. We all nodded in agreement. Is it true, inquired Arno, that our mentors who exist in the fifth, sixth, and seventh densities are in turn mentored from above? What I'm asking is, do the higher levels oversee the lower levels? Yes, of course, laughed Sophia. This is the interconnectedness of all things. So, are you saying that the beings in the higher dimensions are our own spirit that has stepped down into the lower densities? Insisted Arno. I mean that the other aspects of ourselves in the higher densities are our guides, or higher selves, looking after us while we make our sojourn through the third density. Indeed, that is correct, said Sophia. In the seventh density, for example, said Maxim, we manifest ourselves into a biological form in the sixth, fifth, and third densities, ever expanding through new experiences and new levels of awareness. This is the process of creation, and it is inexhaustible, unlimited expansion. And we never stop asking questions, I said. These questions create new experiences, and these new experiences bring new understandings. It is an unlimited process. The higher the realms, said Sarah, the vaster our experience, and the greater our expansion of consciousness, or awareness. How fascinating, remarked Arno. So, does the mentor in the fifth density feel the same feelings that the human is experiencing in the third density? At a fifth density level, replied Sophia, a starseed is responsible for guiding those who are suffering at a third density level. If individuals suffer at a third density level, so does the starseed at the fifth density level. You will know this as you are experiencing the fifth density. Yes, laughed Arno. I am seeing that this is true. What is felt or experienced at the fifth density level is transferred down to the third density level, continued Sophia. If hardships are experienced at the fifth density level, those at the third density level will also experience them. For example, if insecurity is felt in the fifth density, then thousands at the third density level will experience the same insecurity. If laughter and happiness is felt at the fifth density level, then this is also felt at the third density level. In this way, everything is stepped down. There is a huge responsibility on all levels. This is creationism itself, manifesting on all levels. I guess, said Arno, raising his shoulders, the responsibility becomes bigger the higher up you go in this stepped system. All of these challenges create the experiences that we need so that we can grow, said Sophia. The starseeds in the dimensions above the third density also have challenges and responsibilities that they have brought upon themselves. However, this is just another learning experience. It is the same in the higher levels as it is upon third density Earth. When you talk about the third density, or any density, inquired Cinderella, is it the same as a frequency? A density is not something that happens to you, smiled Sophia. Rather, it is something that you are. Your density is created out of your beliefs or your attachments to your beliefs. In fact, when 2, 3, or more people are gathered together, they create a density as a result of their similar beliefs. In other words, they make agreements together and they live according to those agreements. Oh, yes, and the more people who have the same beliefs and agreements, the stronger the influence of the density, agreed Asteria. Ankai nodded in agreement. For example, on Earth, one of the third density agreements is that we will only live until we are 70 to 80 years old. In the fifth density, an individual can live until they are 1,000 years old. There is also more freedom and less emphasis on materialism and attachments. You know that all you have is yourself, and all that you really need is already in your mind. A density is just a set of beliefs or agreements. However, a density also determines your frequency. Do you mean that if we are attached to our beliefs, asked Asteria, tapping her chin with her finger, that holds us in a particular density? However, if we are open and we are willing to change our beliefs, we can raise our frequency or density. It is each soul's journey as they move through existence to experience their personal frequency, replied Sophia. As we take on more and more information, we raise our frequency. A higher frequency means that we have more information and awareness, and as we expand, more and more opportunities become available to us. What you are saying is that humanity, or any being in any density, commented Asteria, needs to let go of their attachment to their beliefs if they want to ascend. When humanity is ready to let go of their limiting beliefs, agreed Ariana, only then will they be able to remove themselves from the reality that those beliefs create. It is these limiting beliefs that hold them in the third density and create suffering. You are always free to control your own matrix, be it third density, fifth density, or above, said Sophia. And you never have to renounce your connection to Source. So, you can experience anything of your choosing and maintain your conscious connection at whatever level, realm, or density that you choose. The purpose of all the densities and all levels above those densities is to expand, grow, and understand the giant cosmic consciousness. Well, understanding the cosmic consciousness is difficult for a lot of humanity when they are attached to materialism, said Shama Ra. Yes, in third density, humanity look for happiness in materialism, agreed Sophia. However, this seldom occurs, so they look for more materialism. This is the concept of having versus being. Many humans think that they are their body, and they do not even believe in life after death, said Altar. I also feel that humanity's problems arise from the belief that matter or materialism is all there is, said Arno. Our body is a physical manifestation and expression of what defines us as souls, I said. In fact, our body is the materialization of all of the concepts that we hold attachments to in the ether. When humanity hold a materialistic and deterministic way of interpreting existence, explained Sophia, it breeds egocentrism, greed, and the experience of separation. It breeds an extreme form of duality. We are not only our bodies and souls, but everyone and everything, and in fact, all that exists is us. This perception expands what we perceive as our true identity. Oh, are you saying that we are all one? Asked Minerva. Every other person is me, having a different experience, I said. If I judge them or make them wrong, I am judging the experience that they have co-created to facilitate their own learning and growth. In fact, as we are all a portal that Creator is experiencing through, I am also judging Creator. We are a group of ideas and concepts in the mind of Source Consciousness, said Sophia. Everything is a part of Source Consciousness, the good and the bad, what we don't want and what we do want. All of this defines us as individual souls with a unique point of view. It is, therefore, how we interpret the field of potential energy that we are in, or that we are a part of, and from where we form our ideas, that determines our material realms of existence. We all looked at Sophia, for none of us had heard anyone speak about this perspective before. Yes, go on, I encouraged. Everything that exists is you, explained Sophia, because everything that exists for you is your unique perspective based on your personal experience. In other words, you interpret everything that exists for you in your own unique way. So, you are the one who is defining the outside world and not the other way around. You are the one who is decoding the field of potential energy and giving everything in it a meaning that is unique to you. Brilliant, said Sarah. And even although other people may apparently share the same interpretation, thereby forming perception agreements or densities, each individual will always have their own interpretation based on what defines them as an individual. Absolutely, said Sophia. The material world is nothing more than an idea, and we experience it as a solid realm only because we hold perception agreements that sustain that illusion. And we only hold on to them when we are in a physical identity that we consider to be solid matter, our bodies. When we do not have a body, we immediately lose those perception agreements and expand to remember who we truly are and who we have always been. There is no death. There is only the realization of the eternal you, the you that you have always been. Oh my gosh, this is mind-blowing, said Arnaud, raising his hands to his head. Do you mean that the physical world is an illusion because it was created from thought, and once we are out of this realm, or density, it ceases to exist? Asked Asteria. Yes, that is correct. It is all an illusion, said Sophia. And yet, everything that you desire that is out there, outside of you, is also inside of you. We all live in a holographic universe. There is no separation. Every part contains the whole. Therefore, it serves no purpose for any human to point a finger and judge people, organizations, systems, and institutions that are doing harm on purpose. Does that include the Federation and the Dark Ones? Asked Cinderella. I am not sure that I can forgive them. Every individual who becomes aware of the darkness, continued Sophia, must acknowledge that the darkness exists within them. They must also acknowledge that it is surfacing and triggering them because there is healing and forgiveness that is needed. I see, nodded Cinderella. So are you saying that we cannot blame the Federation or the Dark Ones because they are a part of the human mind? The Federation does not want to show humanity how to liberate themselves and be free, said Sophia. However, that is because humanity must learn how to free themselves, and the way to freedom is to do our inner work. Unfortunately, said Asteria, her eyebrows raised, I do not see that humanity are ready to do their inner work. Many individuals would rather relinquish the responsibility for their own ascension and stay in their programming, said Naishara. They prefer to be buffeted around from one drama to the next, from one disaster to the next, as they react to every situation. This is the ego. Yes, agreed Ankai. And most human beings have so many emotions just below the surface that it only takes a few seconds to trigger them. They have an outer personality, or who they pretend to be to other people, and an inner personality, or who they really are at home and in their inner world. So, when they are triggered, or when the ego rises up to protect them from the feelings that want to surface, they attack the person who has triggered them. This attack, or judgment of the other person, gives them the justification to stay in their programming. Indeed, exclaimed Imra, the ego feeds them with stories that aren't true to prevent them from accessing their trapped feelings and emotions. Yes, that is correct, agreed Sophia. Humanity needs to understand how their ego tricks them to protect them from feeling their feelings. If they could feel their feelings, release them, and then bring in their higher self and behave differently the next time, they could ascend. This is integration. If you place how you feel first and prioritize feeling over everything else, said Dulkara, you will notice an immediate change. Ultimately, how you feel is everything. When we bypass the doing and go straight to the feeling, this will create a happier life. Feeling is the way. Absolutely, said Altar. This is the importance of allowing your emotions to be what they are and just feel them. We need to move through them and allow them to move through us so that we can be a more effective creator. This is because our creation will be infused with a higher frequency energy. We need to feel for the potential that we have inside of us and be the best version of ourselves that we can be, living the best version of reality from our point of view. The problem is that most people are too focused on negativity, said Irama, and in the process, they create more of the same. What we create is a gift, said Sophia. It is the contrast that we choose in order to wake ourselves up. However, we do not want to get stuck there, said Shamara. We are here to elevate the consciousness on Earth by elevating it within ourselves. The programming for a human being is to find a problem and fix it, said Maxim. This approach to problems means that there will always be more problems to fix. Yes, and therefore you need to take a new approach, said Sophia. A better feeling approach, or an approach that sees everything as perfect as it is in that moment. When you can see everything as perfect, then you will find yourself in a better feeling reality immediately. Ah, yes, said Arno. Everything is perfect because we created it to learn and grow. It is not about what has happened to us. It is what we are going to do with what has happened to us. We are at the point from which everything is being created and experienced, said Sophia. It must be us, individually, who choose to change ourselves. When we see something that we do not like outside of ourselves, we just need to turn it around and look inside ourselves. Our outside world is always reflecting an aspect of us. We need to ask ourselves, how can I become more of who I really am as a being of unconditional love? We need to be the change that we want to make in the world, said Ariana. And we need to be love, I said. That is the key to ascension, isn't it? The more capacity for love that you have, said Sarah, the higher the density you can achieve to experience. It is true that only with love you will ascend, said Sophia in a serene tone. We need to first love ourselves, and when we can do that, we can love others, said Irama. And as we integrate our pain and suffering, we also have compassion for those who are experiencing the same. Nothing outside of you is going to make you ascend, said Sophia. No one can illuminate the fifth density for you as it is something that you find within yourselves. And you find it by accessing more of the love that you truly are. Spread that love around, and you will experience a fifth density realm in which to roam and explore. As already discussed, said Cinderella, although the starseeds offer another set of ideas from the fifth density realm, they are still from another controlled matrix. This is still limitation. The only way to be truly free is to transcend all things outside of yourself. The people who are in the fifth density remember their true essence, I said. However, the people in third density have difficulty. From a higher realm, there is no difference between the third or fifth density or any other realms. Humans are all divine beings who are experiencing through a biological body. Ah, yes, Samira, said Imra. True ascension is to move beyond duality and any matrix that confines you to a density. Ascension is a place where nothing is outside of you or external from you. This is total freedom. In the end, we only work from the higher realms. In the lower realms, we forget that we are all cosmic. When we mentor ourselves, we know that we can return to Creator and be truly free. We all stared out into an ocean of vastness in quiet contemplation, and a quietude descended upon us as we felt the wind of change wash through our entire being. As we journeyed across the Atlantic Ocean, the feeling of love emanated from our hearts and connected us as one to all things. And so, my journey continues.